Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Jamil Fletcher, and I am the publisher of Swerve Magazine. I want to thank you all for coming out to join us this evening. We have a very special guest in the house. Swerve is a national publication, periodical that celebrates the culture and community of Black LGBT people everywhere. I'm going to sit down if you don't mind. And we are celebrating our 15th year of service to the community. So thank you for that. And mark your calendars for June 17th. We're holding a big 15th anniversary celebration in DC. And you'll hear a lot more about it. So we had the great pleasure of doing a cover feature on this gentleman, on Ty Hunter. And I tell you, we were so honored to do it. And it kind of came about by accident, but his story is so great. And I did get a chance to read the book. But I want to read his bio real quick before we bring him out and I tell you more about who he is. Excuse my I need these glasses. Okay. Now, Ty is a celebrity stylist, and we all know that. And for 2 decades, has created some of the most iconic and talked about looks on the red carpet, at top-tier events, in global hit music videos, and for the biggest concert tours on earth. But if you ask his stellar clients, such as Beyonce, Billy Porter, Rosario Dawson, and Naomi Campbell, they will tell you that Hunter is also a trusted friend, close confidant, and inspiring force who, as Kelly Osbourne says, is that rare breed of human who is equally kind and talented. Let me show you a behind-the-scenes video of what it was like to capture that cover image. Can we run that video?
My name is Ty Hunter. I'm a fashion designer, fashion stylist, creative director, and now I'm an author.
We are so delighted to bring the story of Ty Hunter to the pages of Swerve Magazine. Ty's journey, both artistically and personally, is so representative and reflective of how people in our community show up and their impact on the culture, whether it be through the arts, through entertainment, through fashion. I can't wait for folks to read this story.
It's an honor to be part of Swerve Magazine, September issue, being that it's fashion and I am fashion. And the great part about this shoot is that I got to shoot with you, Ricky Day. Ricky Day shot my book cover and he shot the pictures on the inside, and it was just a fun shoot, really quick, to the point, and I'm really, really excited for you guys to see these photos and hear my story.
I'm really excited about the opportunity to do this. I respect the work that Jamil has done with Swerve over the years and highlighting some of the brightest stars in our community. In addition to that, I get to work with my friend and my brother, Ty Hunter. It's not the first time Ty and I have worked together. I've shot him for Native Son campaigns, Portrait at the Native Son Awards, and of course, I shot the cover and the images in his new book, Makeover from Within. But really, it's a pleasure for me because I get to do the thing that I love to do, which is to serve, to use my gifts that come through me to serve others, to serve our community, to bring joy to people. And what better way to do it than to shoot this cover with Ty Hunter?
My book coming out November 16th is called Makeover from Within. I'm really, really excited and anxious for you guys to hear and to read about and learn my journeys and story. The book is literally my life story, and just talking about my different transitions from starting in the medical field and voila, now I'm a fashion designer, stylist, and now an author. So I'm really, really excited for you guys to read this.
every client is unique, every situation is unique, but at the end of the day, everybody always gets my best, right? And shooting a cover image for any publication is an important gig because the cover is what invites people to buy the magazine. It invites people to read the magazine. It invites people to talk about the magazine. And so it's an important task to shoot a cover and to shoot one that's beautiful and captures the spirit of the person. And I like to believe that's what we did with this image of Ty, and I can't wait to see people react to it.
It was fun to actually style. You know, normally I'm going on shoot styling other people to finally have to style myself, which was cool. To actually go out and do a pull for myself was cool. So I think that's the fun part of it all. Next, you know, I've done shoots where I allowed other stylists to style me, which was cool to see people's other perspectives on how I shoot feel, but to actually do it myself and feel good, and you know, like I said, and to be able to shoot with you, Ricky Day, again, and kind of learn, you know, we kind of know each other, and I know what you need from me, and you actually pull out that other side that I didn't even know I had, which was great. So overall, I'm just happy again to be a part of this project, and you know, September, I can't wait to see the cover.
Magazine, September, October 2022, style issue featuring Ty Hunter, shot by Ricky Day. It's gonna be fabulous. We got y'all. Y'all ready? All right, folks. Well, join me in welcoming Ty Hunter to the stage. Ty? He's so tall, he don't need the steps. Right? Hi, Ty. Good to see you, baby. So
Hello, everyone.
And there's some water there if you like.
You guys look beautiful.
He came down from New York, so we love you.
Yes.
So you know, that was a fluke, somewhat of a fluke. Well, things happen for a reason. So I'm just going to give the quick and dirty about how that all came about. We were planning a major cover with another designer for months, maybe like 6 or 7 months. On my way up to New York for the cover shoot, the next day, I get a call from that person's handlers that they're canceling. They're no longer interested. Long story, fast forward, Ricky Day, the blessed photographer, cinematographer, producer, really pulled it together. He said, Jamil, and he was shooting that cover. He said, Jamil, don't worry, I got somebody else that you might want to do. And he said, we'll talk in the morning. And he said, it's Ty Hunter. And I said, oh, okay, we're on our way. And that's how it occurred. So did you know the roots of that story?
Yeah, I did. And I'm glad I was able to do it. I saved the day, but it came at a good time because I was already promoting my book and I had just shot with Ricky, so it all fell into place. I was glad I had clothes from another shoot that I didn't use, so I was like, okay, I'll do it.
and the cover came out amazing. I know they're going to show it before,
Thank
we
you.
have copies of that issue anyway. So tell me, I was very nervous about this interview, right? And I'm going to tell
Why?
you, the main reason I was nervous is because what in the world am I going to wear? That's what I was thinking.
Oh, I'm not like that. You see what I have on.
Right, but I was afraid of a Vanessa Williams, Ugly Betty, No Gladiator, Sandal moment. That's what I was
You all
thinking in my
right. You
mind.
did good. No stress. You look
Okay.
great.
All right, enough of the corny jokes. But anyway, so let me hear it from a stylist. I want to get the definition of what a stylist actually does from someone at the top of the profession.
Their job. No, I'm joking. You know, what I do, I can only talk about what I do, is I try to get to know my client. It's almost like therapist / stylist. You want to learn what their insecurities are and get them to a place of not being insecure and loving themselves at all. So it's basically, what I do is make people love themselves and not take fashion so serious. You're gonna get tackled day by day by blogs and haters, but that's all part of it. I believe in once you and the person in the mirror are okay with what you have on, that's all that matters. And because it's not about the clothes, it's about your, your self-esteem. It's about feeling confident. And I always say this all the time. I'm sure you guys heard it if you follow me. We're not born with clothes on. Our first outfit is our skin. And so until we get right in that, we're gonna always have problems. So the whole purpose and goal is to truly learn to love yourself and all, and not worry about what people have to say. The world didn't bring it's not, I don't give a what people think about how I dress.
Well,
and
that's
stuff.
because they love you because you got good taste.
Well, it's also about confidence. That's how you can see Gaga show up with a meat dress on and then people walking around with steaks on. It's just about confidence, it's not about the clothes. So just getting to a place of truly loving yourself and not caring and not taking fashion so serious. It ain't about it being high fashion, it ain't about the design, it's about what you look good. I thrift all the time. I believe in going thrifting. I don't like to spend money on clothes.
Oh, we're gonna hang out
Okay.
together.
Yeah, that's what it's about with me, really. It's about if it's hot, why not?
Gotcha. Well, first of all, congratulations on this book.
Thank you.
So the book is amazing. I'm going to tell you, and he will be signing it later. But not only is the content good, but it looks so good. The photographs, the layout, it's phenomenal. Congratulations to you and Ricky.
Thank you. Ricky did all the recent photos. He did an amazing job. And, I have Beyonce wrote the foreword, Billy Porter wrote the afterword. You got Naomi Campbell stamping. You got all these people stamping it. So I was like, this has to feel good. It has to look good. It's important for all of the quality. And the quality. And I love everything yellow. And, I just wanted to make sure it was plush and nice.
I got a question for that later, but I was curious because this is a memoir, right? But what made you decide to write a memoir with lessons learned included throughout the book?
Well, it's kind of who I am. If you follow me on social media, you know that I'm about motivating people, uplifting, and also, make you laugh and act silly and stuff. But it's just who I am. It's my DNA. It's how I feel good. So I tell my story, my memoir, and after each chapter, I do these things called Tide Takeaways. And if any of you follow me on social media, you know that feeling you get when you go to my page. I want it to be a place to escape. So the yellow is the sunlight, because social media could be a dark place at times, and so I want to make sure that I am the escape at some point. But that's why I chose to write my story this way. And I talk about, I went to the right. Now, you can still go to the right and learn your lesson, and this is your journey, but I think if you go to the left, this is what could happen. So that's why I do the Tide Takeaways at the end.
And you know what's centered through this book, what comes through clear, is that a career in fashion was inevitable. I mean, from day one, you were sort of tied towards fashion. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I can truly say, all the men in my life are men, and I was that kid that was a little different, and I didn't like sports. I was anti-sports, and my dad, I didn't know until much later. And this is how great writing this book is, and that's why it's important to write down things and to just really map it all out. Because I never been in therapy, and so once I wrote this book, this was like therapy to me. And you say things out loud and you write them down, and you realize why that didn't work out because this happened and this was supposed to happen. Everything is already mapped out the way it's supposed to be mapped out. And my dad, he's so sports, and all the men in my life were so sports, but my dad took me to Diana Ross concert when I was a kid, just me and my dad. And when I was writing the book, I was like, this don't make no damn sense. My dad took me to Diana Ross, but that's what sparked me into fashion. That Diana Ross concert, the glitter, the hair, and all that. I was like, I'm obsessed with this. And my great-grandmother and my mom was a single parent, so financially, she would give me what I wanted. She'll put it on layaway. I'll get one pair of those Calvin Klein or Jordache. I'm going to take it back and show you my age a little bit, Jabot. But
I'm not familiar with that brand.
You probably, it's back there. I'll be 51 this year. Thank you. But she would give me, so my time was, I loved being around elder people. I didn't really like dealing with kids that much. I liked being with the older people. My time with my great grandmother and my grandmother was so valuable to me, and we would go thrifting and yard sales and stuff like that. And when I was growing up, if you wore a Salvation Army and Goodwill, you would get teased. But because I knew how to switch it out and make it my own and be fashionable with it, I really didn't have those problems, and nobody knew. But yeah, I always loved fashion. And I would say, like, in high school, I was like best dressed and stuff like that. And I used to love like taking friends and styling them out. I never knew that I would make money from this, because I wasn't even in fashion. I went to school for music video business because I thought I was going to be a producer. I don't know who I thought I was going to be, but I thought I was going to make tracks. Wasted all my family money. I got to Dallas. I went to the Art Institute. I just partied the whole time. And I thank the Lord for just taking that whole memory thing out, because I don't remember nothing.
Well, let's fast forward to you relocating to Houston.
Yeah,
And
well,
then
I
that
was in the medical.
explosion.
I end up leaving there, and I end up working in the medical field. I used to work on artificial heart valves. I used to sit under a microscope and work on artificial heart valves. And I made good money, and I loved the job, but I found out a really good friend of mine had a heart valve, and it just became a place I dreaded. So I contacted my cousin. We had family leave. The president said you could leave your job for 3 months. I contacted my cousin who lived in Houston, and I was like, can I come stay with you for a month? And that ended up being an eternity, because when I left Austin to Houston, I was like, I am not going back to Austin. It just wasn't the spot. It was very black and white and no gray in between, and I just loved Houston for the mixing pot of cultures, and it was kind of like a little New York back then. You had the Galleria Mall, and that's kind of how everything happened for me.
Well, and I mean, you had some challenges at that time, according to the book. You dealt with a very, an incident that could have really sent you left, and you decided to take it right. But then on top of that, you also, after that, you became a parent, and then you were dealing with the issues of coming out and the whole sexual identity with someone who loved and then worked in fashion, and then also dealing with your sexual identity associated with that. So that's a lot that happened while you were moving to Houston.
You answered it. I could sit right here on the next one. What else we got? No, I'm joking.
I mean, I read the book.
I was shot like right before I turned 21. These guys came up to me because it was a mistaking identity, and they came to me with guns up to my head. I could have not been here today, but God had another plan. And at the time, my song was Lenny Kravitz, "It Ain't Over Till It's Over," and my company I was working for, they had a party up the street from the club that everybody went to every weekend, and there was fights every weekend, and somebody probably got shot every weekend or stabbed. But we didn't have a lot to do in Austin being black, so we just went and said, it ain't me, as long as I'm a good person, stay out in my own lane, but pow, pow, I got shot. And I'm glad it happened only because it taught me that why am I going to this spot that's known for this, and why am I putting myself in this situation? And also taught me that, you could be a good person and still get shot. The bullet, it is what it is. And it also taught me to just pay attention to my surroundings and switch up the flow of how, we get to a spin cycle of just the norm, like living for the same thing for the weekend, get paid, do the same thing. Switch it up, go do something else, go do something productive. And it also switched up who was around me. It really made me just really grow up.
And then you met someone special that sort of changed the trajectory of your life in Houston. And you talked about the influence of women, but this one woman in particular really changed your career.
Yes, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson.
Tell us about that.
Being that I moved to Houston from Austin, so I was a little ways away from my mom, and if any of you ever met Miss Tina, she immediately becomes your auntie or your mom, or you already probably think that in your head. There's a few people that we grew up like watching, like Shirley Ralph is all of our mom, It's just certain people you just kind of have that that bond with them without knowing. But we met. I worked at a store called Booyaka at the time, and Booyaka, and Miss Tina would come in, and Destiny's Child were like neighborhood superstars at the time. They had No 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 on the radio, and we just connected like immediately. And I started helping her, and I just knew her along the way. And each girl, Solange was like a kid, and I just knew the whole team, and they would come in and out. And I worked at all the different locations because I did the visuals for different stores, and they had like 7 or 8 throughout Houston. So I'll be at this mall, and they'll come or whatever. And I didn't find out too much later. We did a interview together, me and her, for The Culture, and now I know she was giving me tests because she'll be like, "Oh, the luggage was lost. Can you get us something?" And I was just making it happen. And she told me later. I just found out last year that was tests, but I thought, they lost the luggage. Let me get some. But I started working at the Guest store. As I grew and started knowing Houston, they started growing. So I went from Booyaka, which was an inexpensive store, then I started working at Guess, and they would come in and I would help them, and then I started working at BB. And one day I was at BB, and they were being filmed, The Day in the Life of Destiny's Child. They all came in, and Miss Tina, she didn't know that I knew. I started knowing each girl separately. Like Michelle would come to town and we would go to lunch. Farrah at the time. Like I just started knowing each girl separately, but I wasn't starstruck. And Miss Tina's like, "I'm gonna get you out of here one day." I didn't believe her, but I had a day off, and I called her, and the rest is history. My first job was the Survivor video and the Grammys.
The Grammys was your first job?
Yeah.
And wow.
Thank you.
So you never know who you're going to meet at the mall, first of all.
Yeah.
So you got to be nice to people.
You got to be nice, and you got to speak up. Like, closed mouths don't get fed. It's important when you had an opportunity to talk to. I'd rather go home and say, "I met such and such. She was a BITCH," versus I didn't go up to her. Let me try to go back there next week at the same time and hope I'm going to run into her. Like, this is not a rehearsal. You have to go for it when you can.
So what was that like, though? I mean, that was like threw you right into the fire.
I was in the fire, and I was learning and then being a sponge, and it didn't hit me because I literally was thrown in fire. I didn't have time to really think and just really be grateful and notice the blessing because I was living in it and I didn't want to mess it up. So I was just like working, and Destiny's Child was everywhere. Like I'm 4 passports deep. Like we were everywhere. And, back then it was no like we only had Skyway 2-way pagers, no cell phones. I used to carry a backpack and use the concierge as my Google. So it was just a different time in fashion, and, we didn't have YouTube and stuff, so you could kind of cheat a little bit. And when you're going to wear these, when we get to France, and then we're going to spray these girls, and y'all going to wear these when we get over here back to Miami. Like, now you can't do that.
But it sounds like you were also designing, because it wasn't like you were just picking clothes off the rack.
Nobody would let us pull clothes. So Miss Tina would, sketch, and we'd be in fabric stores, and we would just have things created, And what seemed like a curse at the time was such a blessing because it allowed me to learn the whole inside and out of fashion, like down to the right buttons and zippers, and know the difference between clothes that's for the tours and red carpets and editorial. Like there's such a difference with performance clothes.
And one of the things I love about that story is that as they grew, they didn't abandon the people that helped them grow. They let you grow with them.
Exactly. It was all loyalty. I don't know if that's a Southern thing, but we truly are. It was a loyalty amongst all of us. And it was a tight-knit family. Like, it's not just working with, my clients. I was working with my sisters. And, Tina, I call her other mother.
And the photos in the book sort of indicate that familiarity. What about now? You now then, Beyonce explodes as a solo, a cultural icon, a solo artist, and she takes you with her, and you work with her. What was that like, and what are some of the highlights out of that experience?
I mean, it's all a highlight now when you stepped away from it and look back on it. Like I said, when you in it, you just in it. But it's truly a blessing and an honor to be a part of so many historic moments. And like I said, because of the way I am, I'm now really looking, and after writing this book, like, I'm the shit. And it's okay to say it out loud because,
Amen.
I never, yeah, it's just when you step away and just see and just seeing other things being recreated and a lot of people paying homage and it takes a little longer journey when you're a good person and when you're a nice person, but when you do hit it and you at the finish line, there's more people clapping because I didn't have to run across to hurt anybody on the way there.
Amen. Amen. But was there any like spectacular moment that just sits with you like, I can't believe we did that? That was
Just the being there for Barack, like that was a historical moment. All the Met Galas just tend to just stand because that's just timeless. It's still going. Like that's forever. Crazy in Love, Survivor was my first. So that
well, Crazy in Love. Let's talk about that because
yeah, it was
you dialed it
20-year
down.
anniversary on Monday.
But you dialed it down for that.
Yeah.
You chose to simplify the look as opposed to amplify.
Yeah, we wanted to because we wanted something that the kids could emulate and copy. So because everything we did was always so glamorous and so big, so it was important to kind of tie. And even though I just did a thing for Vogue, people didn't know that there was rhinestones on that tank top, but that was really a rhinestone tank top.
You picked out the red shoes though?
Yes, yes.
Now, what did you take from working with Beyonce to now working with the other diva, Billy Porter himself?
He's fun. Billy reminds me a lot of when I work with Solange, when I style Solange, because I would go to the showroom and get the things that I like people were afraid of and didn't want to wear. I'll be like, oh, I don't like that, and we'll go and just make it make sense. And he's just fun, and he's inspired me because he came at a time, because 50, we up there, but he just
Speak for
that
yourself.
fire that he has, and he's, and I just, it's just good to see that everything can quit thinking putting an age limit on anything. You can do anything at any time, and there's so many walking testimonies of that, and it inspired me a great deal.
Well, Billy's at the height of his power now. He's got a concert tour. He's going to be here on June 2nd. I'm going. I don't know if anyone else is going, and that's going to be spectacular.
Yeah.
Did you by any chance style him for this show?
I actually did. I did the wardrobe. I just didn't want to go on tour. My tour days are over. I'm barely touring for myself now.
I hear you. So behind every sort of fabulous look, to me, I can see the black gay man somewhere off to the side, or someone that did the makeup. I can feel the children all in a lot of the looks in those cultural moments. Is there a community of black gay men that are behind the scenes in this business that sort of work together? Is there a community,
I mean,
a governing
a lot of
body
us,
by any chance?
I mean, a lot of us, like with me, I can't say for me, I don't look at my peers as competition. I compete against myself, so more I like mentor them a lot. A lot of them come to me on the side. So I'm just really happy and proud of my people because when I started, I felt like I was alone. It was just me and like June Ambrose and Misa Hilton, and now it's just so many black creatives, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, and so they know that they can come to me with any advice because I've been there, done that.
Gotcha. And we're going to open it up to questions in just a few minutes. But while we do that, and we're going to have microphones on the side for people to come, right, Chanel? Right, Chanel? She's coming. Before we do that, so tell us, what are you doing about, like, do you have your own line? What's the future look like for Tyler?
I'm working on another book. I'm also going to have my own TV show.
Fierce.
And I can't believe I said that out loud. Yeah, the Ty Hunter show. And also, I have handbags coming out soon. The press release is about to drop. Y'all hear it first. And other surprises that I don't want to jinx, but those are kind of the ones that I could kind of like go there with.
Well, Swerve is always here as a platform
Thank
to share
you.
that with the community. So, do
Thank
we have
you.
any questions? Anyone have any questions?
Hello, I like the green. Okay.
So his question is, being the editorial styling side, how to submit editorials to magazines or getting their submission calendar so you can shoot something for them.
You gotta normally have emails. And I would definitely send something quick. Like the thing is with us and with people, we don't want to read too much. So knock that out in 1 or 2 or 3 sentences tops and have that PDG, that file there with the work. And also, if you're going to say that you're this or that, please have somewhere that you can show your work. Because a lot of times, if you be like, I do this, and I go to your Instagram, and it's just selfies. It's like, girl, like, work with me, So just make sure that everything is quick and to the point. And you'd be surprised. You can send DMs. I check DMs. A lot of the designers that I've used in the past have simply just bold outs in a DM. And so just make sure that the quality is there. Lining is important, people. You can have the cutest outfit and not go in the line. I can't take this to, it's just detail is important.
Okay, no, perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And I wanted to thank you for your time tonight and just coming, because the idea of makeover from within is oftentimes overlooked.
Thank you.
And the fact that you speak from the heart, your dedication to mentorship and kind of helping others along the way, it really says a lot about you. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Oh, so sweet. Thank you.
Racine, you had a question?
Yes, I did. Thank
Uh-oh.
you so kindly. Thank you. In the industry that you're in, I have a 2-part question, because I'm a senior and I'm pulling senior privilege. Who gave you the greatest lesson? And if you were to give someone advice, what would be that advice you would give someone?
I would definitely say the greatest lesson, it's a few people. I'm going to highlight the people that I talk about in my book, though. Freddie Lieber, he's an older stylist, and Philip Block, who was styling Halle Berry at the time. They simply just was there for me. Like, they kind of, because me and Miss Tina weren't able to pull from showrooms in the beginning. We were making things, and Philip would call me. It's like, Ty, it's a showroom here. And he kind of like mentored me and like was not afraid to share. And so with them doing those simple tasks of just being there, it allowed me to do the same exact thing, because in this industry, people are so nasty. And like, especially when I was started, man, they would take all the hot stuff and just keep it there until the award was over. It's like, girl, damn well your artist can't wear none of this. Why are you? But that's how it was so competitive, And so just that whole thing of just, it's okay to just be there and mentor and help, because there's room for all of us. And also, I would have to say, just, you have to learn to know your worth in the beginning. You have to set that, and sometimes we do things for the look of it. Just whatever you do, just make sure you're getting something from it, because what happens is you find yourself down a rabbit hole and people talk. They be like, oh, how much is that? You can she do it for 2 cents. So then you'll be known as a 2-cent girl and doing everything for 2 cents and mad and hating the business. So you just have to learn that this is my worth. I know my worth, and I won't work for less than that.
Ian Williams.
Okay, I'm several phrases. So when you have a client that may not be the most popular, and if they're not very popular, then the critics wait to see what they're going to wear to criticize it. So how do you deal with the stress of having a client that may not be as popular as a Beyonce, and you have to style them and then wait to see what the public, even though your client loves it, but what the public says?
That's all that matters. Your client loves it. You love it. You got to keep going. That's it. Because once you get in that, trust me, people eat up everything. Okay? When you and your client are done, girl, you feel good? Go on out there. You know what I mean? And maybe she just got to take time and don't scroll down. Don't do the comments. Post. Limit the thing, but you can't hide, you can't run from it. People eat me up daily, and I'm one of the nicest people, and I be thinking I'm fly when I walk out. But it's like it is part of it. You know what I mean? So you just got to make sure your client get to a point of not caring, because it is what it is. It's comical. It's like you're already winning. You at the event and they're at home on the computer. So you can't run from that. And then it's not about who you styling. It's about how that person feels about themselves. The comparison is the thing y'all gotta get away with anyway. She can't be Beyonce. She's not Beyonce. She's her. Whoever your client is, that's who she is. So she have to work on that and get to where she's proud and happy with her image, and that's all that matters.
Sir?
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
My name is Benjamin Coy, and
Nice to
first
meet
of
you.
all, I want to say thank you for coming here and sharing your creativity with the world.
Thank you.
As a creative myself, it is like a very vulnerable place to be. So thank you for continuously doing that, and also being a great representation for Black queer people. So
Thank you.
Amen.
So my question is, while in your transition phase from Austin to Houston and the medical field to fashion, how did you continue to motivate yourself to keep going with all like the pressures around you as being a Black person, as being a queer person in this world? Like, how did you keep, or what did you say to yourself to keep motivating yourself to pursue?
I just, you get to a point where you're just uncomfortable with life. And you just I just said, look, I'm gonna jump, and if this doesn't work, see, a lot of times people look at going back home as failure or going backwards. Sometimes you gotta go back and rethink that thing through and work it out and map it out and then jump again. Because the thing is, I'll never forget when I worked at the Artificial Heart Valve place, this man, he worked with us and he worked everybody's overtime. Oh my God, because he was like, I'm saving up Ty, I'm gonna this and that and that and this. And he saved up and he worked and he saved and he worked and he worked and he worked, and we had him this huge party, and that man died 3 days later.
Wow, wow.
And with that happening, I was like, live, and just jump. And if I've always done that, because I know as long as I continue to put out what I want to receive and continue to be a good person, good things will happen. It's not at my time, but the timing is the right time. And it's not easy. It's literally having faith and sticking to having faith. You know what I mean? Faith is a hard one. It is a hard one, but there are dark times. But in those dark times, I'm like, what am I supposed to learn here to go forward? You know what I mean? And so a lot of times we look at dark times as just dark, but dark times, as long as you have in the mindset and really know that there's light on the other side, there will be light on the other side. Nothing bad lasts forever. Nothing good lasts forever. Period. So you just have to get to a point of just knowing that it's going to get better and just keep pushing and just go for it, because the deterioration that's going to happen with you not taking the chance and doing it is going to eat you up more than you taking a chance and doing it.
That's right. Amen. Your day?
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
I saw your, my name is Yarde.
Hello.
Yarde Noir. I saw your interview on Tamron Hall, and that was the thing, that interview moved mountains for me. I wanted to ask you this question. When you knew it was time to spread your wings, what was the moment that hit you that made you go, it's time to spread my wings?
Spread My Wings from Beyonce?
Yeah.
I did the Coldplay video, and the next day my daughter turned 21, and I also had just created a phone case in the tech world, and I had just created emojis, and I had like all this stuff going on, and it was time to do the Super Bowl, and it was time to prep for the On the Run 2 tour. And I just knew that if I go do these things, then I'm gonna be on the tour and I won't be able to work on myself. And it's just the first time of just really just praying and putting myself first. So I had to talk with B, and also you learn that I started when there wasn't Zoom and FaceTime and all that stuff. So I missed a lot of important things, birthdays and funerals and just, kids, just a lot of things. And so it was just and I'm older now, so it's like, let me reprogram and put some of my priorities or switch them up a little bit. And and be understood. And everybody was like, I'm forever here for you. But you're a star. She was like, go do your thing, whatever you need, I'm gonna be here. And so that's kind of how I took the chance. And that's the thing, like, if you have a support system, jump. A lot of people don't have that option to anything to fall back on. And so I knew that if I jump, I can go back to my mama's house. You know what I mean? Or I could go stay at my cousin, or whatever, till you just pull it together. So it's like, as long as you have that, because a lot of people don't have that, it's sink or swim. If they got to make it work. But do not be afraid to go after anything that you want. Don't.
Hi.
Hello.
So you've had a really amazing life where you've gotten to dress and do a bunch of different things for people. If you had to dress your life up and all of your memories together, what would that outfit look like for us?
Good question.
Good question, Hope. Good question.
I would. Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. Definitely yellow, something yellow, because that's just my thing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about yellow.
Yellow, something yellow, of course. But I don't know. I just think I'm to the point where y'all going to hate me for this, but I don't care about fashion. I've been in it so long, that's why I stepped away from it, and Billy just happened to come at a time or whatever, but I really don't look at fashion like, I live and breathe it like that. So if anything, it's just about being comfortable and just whatever that is. I don't think out my outfits and this shoe would go, I literally just get dressed, you know what I mean? I'm more of a skincare person. Yeah, so I would definitely just say it don't have to be flashy. I just want to be comfortable and just be able to, but yellow definitely, because it makes me happy. Or black makes me happy too.
Well, speaking of the yellow, your IG page, now I follow you, and there's nothing about fashion or about the styling work that you do. It's really motivational, inspirational, and everything's yellow-based. So you said yellow makes you happy. What's the root of that, and why did you choose to do it that way?
Yellow is like a happy color for me, and it just reminds me of the sun. And like I said, the web can be a bad, dark place. It's a gift and a curse. But I just wanted to make sure that my page that's why I call it the Ty Yellow Pages, just to make people laugh and feel good, because that's what makes me feel good. I literally just try to put out what I want to receive. And so sometimes you have to fast, not just food-wise, but, things will trigger you. If you going on social media and getting mad, please go in there and do some cleansing, because you either get jealous of something, why she got that, I'm better than her, whatever that is tricky, or that ex or whatever. Go in there and do some cleaning, and also do some social media breaks, because it can take over. It really can.
Yes, we do.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Tonight you spoke about this, and in your book you talk about, and I really appreciate the benefit that you experience of entering fashion and not really having access to all of the resources, and how that helped you learn more about the craft by making do with what you had. And I think that that's transferable to lots of different paths. My question, though, is for people who are in similar situations in any field. What would you say to them to combat the imposter syndrome? So, if they weren't trained to do it, but they're still passionate about it and they're making do with what they have, but how do they deal with that doubt of being there?
I didn't go to school for this, I went to school for something else, and I just believe in just you gotta just keep going forward. I know, as I know you heard it before, but it will happen in due time. And you gotta just, even when you're on your 9 to 5, when you lay your head down at night, if you put an hour or two in that other whatever that is, you gotta feed that thing. You can't expect it to just pop up and say, I'm here, I've arrived. But if you feeding it and you're fueling it, trust me, it will come. it will come.
All right, 2 more questions.
Hi, Ty Hunter. How are you
Hey,
today?
how you doing?
You're looking fantastic up there.
Thank you. This whole thing.
That's Greg Scott, by the way.
Yes, I'm Greg Scott. I'm a gallery curator at Children's Hospital.
Awesome.
And the question I have for you is, we have a lot of young people going through a lot of changes up there, trying to find out who they are and where they want to be in life and you know, what their journey is. What would you say to a patient that really is going through a lot, trying to find whether he or she or he or her? What would you say to a patient like that?
That's trying to find themselves?
Trying to find themselves.
And what's this age range? Because all of this is play.
Say from 8 to about 11.
You getting deep over here, honey. No, I just, you know, I believe in allowing anyone to just be themselves. I'm a walking testimony. I'm so blessed. I don't have that horrible story of not being allowed to be myself. My mom and my family, and I always talk about this, like the men in my life, they always treated me real fragile. We'll be playing football and they'd be like, "You scored." I'm like, nobody even came after me. But, you know, they saw something in me before I saw it in myself. So I just believe in allowing, you know, as long as no negativity or anything bad, but just allow them to be themselves. And I talk about this in my book. My babysitter, who ended up being an amazing artist later, but she used to let me play with dolls, but she would put me in a separate room and close the door and let me play with dolls. But her letting me play with dolls allowed me to dress dolls in my later life, Destiny's Child, and the dolls for their dolls. So it's just like, you gotta let that creativity do what it do, and as long as you're not hurting anybody, it will do, no matter what, you know, long as when you're your true authentic self, you just soar, you know? It's easier for me to be like, it's easy for me to be myself. Like, I could pretend to give you fab and all of that, but, you know, you got to keep that up.
But you are fabulous.
Huh? No, I am fabulous, but I'm also humble. And people don't know that those two things can't go together. And so it's just allow people to be themselves, and just so the judgmental thing is just, the higher powers to handle that.
Amen. Was there any other question? There's one more?
Yes.
Hi.
Ty.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm amazing.
Good.
So I heard a couple of people bring up mentorship, and I wanted to know if you offer mentorship, because I know you said you didn't go like the traditional route in fashion, neither did I, but I'm definitely looking for somebody to be a mentor for me, because I'm looking to go further within fashion.
As far as my team is heavy, but like mentor, like people hit me up all the time with questions and stuff, so I'll definitely give you my information.
Okay, thank you.
And there was one more, Lewis, and then Ian. Ian had one. 4 more? Okay, 4 more. I'm sorry. And Ty is going to sign books later this evening. We're also doing a reception after this as well. Everyone's welcome to join us.
I know that I had a question earlier, but you said something that really weighed on my spirit.
Okay.
As parents, we are the caretakers of our children. And you pour into so many on a daily basis by what you do, how you touch their spirits and everything. But what experience that your daughter taught you as you poured into her, what did she pour back into you that you knew that she listened to you?
She poured into me just loving me unconditional, allowing me to be me. I'm a gay man who dreaded the day I have to tell my daughter that I'm gay. And she came to me and pretty much let me know and just loved me as in, you know, once I got that stamp, my mom and my daughter, I didn't give a damn about nobody else. So I would definitely just, her unconditional love and just loving me and not allowing the world to stand in the way between us.
And I understand she's in the business.
No, not anymore, but she has done
okay.
things, yeah.
You kind of piqued my interest earlier when you talked about your dad, because we grow up with traditional ways that guys are supposed to react and like sports, but you mentioned that your dad took you to a concert, but at the same time, men were in your life. So what was your relationship with your dad, and how did that evolve, and are you still close with him?
Okay. My dad, he passed to. My mom and dad were both diagnosed with cancer at the same time. My dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and my mom is currently has breast cancer, and he passed away like 3.5 years ago. But I can truly say we were close, but not as close as we were until he was like on the bed, and I never left his side for 3.5 months in the hospital. And I can say it's important to go to each rock and turn it over. Make sure you get every question there is that you might have. And we really bonded, and I got to know him, and he got to know me. I learned so much about him. Even when he passed, I didn't know that he was an artist, and I wanted to be an artist. And he never talked to me about those things. I found out after his passing, and I have his artwork in the book as well. But we got much closer in the end times. And I'm so glad that I was able to be there by his side. It helped me deal with the whole thing and look at death in a whole nother light, because death is life.
One more?
Yeah. So good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Max, and I'm from New York, and years ago, you and I, we just crossed paths just being out in like similar social circles. And you didn't know me, but we still spoke, you dapped me up. And just throughout the night, I remember that you were kind to everybody who you came across. And so when my buddy told me about tonight, I'm like, sure, like I don't know him, but I remember how you made me feel.
Oh.
So big shout out to you.
Oh, thank
Proud
you.
of you, this book. Yeah, I can't wait to read it. So my question is, looking back, like say X amount of years, how do you maintain that level of kindness as it relates to you being your authentic self?
It's just easy. And that's the thing. I still get shocked a lot. I still get shocked a lot when people are like, you're so nice. Like, I shouldn't feel like a dinosaur. Like, why can't everybody just be nice, Like, it's easy. I don't know. It's just easier for me. I keep saying this. I sound like a broken record, but I constantly just prefer to put out what I want to receive. I can be cold and mean, but where does that go? Like, it's just so easy to acknowledge. We all just want to be seen. So why walk in the room and not acknowledge people? Why not acknowledge the interns that are packing up all the stuff? Well, I know I'm here to see Lisa for the appointment, but these 4 kids been in here, I just make it a point to just let people know that I see you. And that's it. We all painting these, I say it all the time, we're Easter eggs. We're all painting this shell to be so perfect and beautiful, but what is going on the inside? Is it yolk? Is it confetti? Is it hollow? Is it a bird? What's going on? So the makeover from within, I know I stress about the book, but it's simply just acknowledging people and letting them know I see you. It's okay to compliment, at least try to compliment 3 to 4 people a day. Just try it. It just makes life so much better. It makes you feel better about yourself in the end. And it's just simply, those little small acts have always came back to me in some form or fashion. So my elevation is simply happening from me acknowledging somebody that was down there who is now up there. You just never know. So it's just important to just let people know that I see you.
Karma is important. Was that it? Okay. Well, Ty is going to be signing books. We want to thank him, first of all. That was great.
Thank you. Oh, I want to thank each and every one of y'all. This is really, 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 really special, and I see a lot of faces I haven't seen in a while. But thank you guys so much. You could have been anywhere tonight, and you chose to be here, so thank you.
Yes, and Ty is going to be signing books, but we are also hosting a post-reception at Eaton Hotel on 12th and K Streets, starting at 9:30 to 11, so you're all welcome to join us. So, And mark your calendars for June 17th for Swerve Magazine's 15th anniversary celebration. So thank you for coming.
Now I'm about to debut my new single. No, I'm joking.
I've seen stranger things have happened. All right. Thank you. And I want to thank, first of all, the DC Library and Chanel for her team for helping us, and then also Mahogany Books and us helping us, who partnered with us for this event. Thank you for coming, and look forward to seeing you in June at the 15th anniversary celebration. Thanks. Bye.